After years of failure, is DC finally back? Superman, which released this week, is the new iteration of Superman from James Gunn, and DC right now is going into the new direction. So we have all seen the trailers, and from the trailers it was evident that this version of Superman is completely different from the last one that we saw directed by Zack Snyder. So let's talk about how the film actually was. First of all, if we need to understand that this is not really a sake of origin story itself, because the film presents itself from the first scene. It shows that Superman is right now an adult and he has already announced himself as the superhero of Metropolis. So the thing is, James Gunn, he presents his film and he presents his superhero in such a way that he understands that Superman, being maybe the most popular comic book character of all time, people know their origin story and people are almost tired about hearing the same story of Krypton and how he was sent to Earth when Krypton was destroyed. So he directly presents itself as the Superman itself. So let's talk about David Corenswet. David Corenswet as Superman is absolutely fantastic. He brings in such amount of energy and he brings in a relatability factor which was completely missing from the last couple of versions of Superman. Here, Superman hasn't been presented as the so-called god. He has been presented almost as a human. This is a much more humanized version of Superman which James Gunn has presented. Now I can see that this can turn some people off. However, this felt much more relatable. You could connect to Clarke Kent as well. David Corenswet's charm and his brilliant energy on the screen literally brings in, and he right now, just like Matt Reeves' Batman, where Robert Pattinson right now is really the Batman. Right now, we can say that in the new direction and the new regime of DC, David Corenswet is definitely the Superman. Over here, this doesn't present itself, like I said, as a complete origin story. Now, I can also understand that this might also turn a few new people off. Because we need to understand, after years of failure, DC and James Gunn, they are trying to cater in to a new audience. They are trying to, of course, catering to the old audience, which they had lost a couple of years back because of multiple failures. However, a film like this tries to bring in a new audience as well, maybe who are not that much well versed with the comic books or maybe haven't watched too many comic book films. For them, for the first half an hour, it can be a bit tough to connect. Second of all, this can be called maybe the most comic bookish film of all time. Perhaps. There are scenes which almost felt like the pages of comic books almost came alive on screen. And this is such a welcome change after years of darkened version of Superman and years of darkened DC characters other than Batman, which is of course a darkened character itself. So it's definitely felt fresh, and the loyal fans of comic books and comic book readers are going to have an absolute brilliant time at the theaters. James Gunn's love for DC Comics and his love for comic books overall shows in every frame. And here, just like I stated on this thumbnail of the video, you can almost call it the Marvel vacation of DC over here. There were scenes in this film which felt a bit reminiscent to Shazam. A couple of years back, Shazam released the first part, and I absolutely loved it because there was such amount of fresh energy in that film. And over here as well, you can literally connect to it. Superman has always been a character which gives hope. Hope is the first thing that you will take away from the theaters after you watch this film. Rachel Brosnahan is also absolutely fantastic as Lois Lane. She brings such energy and there is such emotions that she shares on the screen with Clarke Kent. And the romance of Clarke Kent and Lois Lane is so well established in the film. There are scenes which literally make you a bit emotional and you get a kind of like a wholesome feeling to it. So it was absolutely great. And the best thing about Lois Lane's character arc over here is she definitely looks like a reporter over here. So this really felt fresh. Now there are a couple of problems that I found in the film. Many might not agree, but I found Nicholas Hoult's Lex Luthor a bit one-noted. There wasn't too much dynamism in his character, and a few scenes almost felt a bit repetitive. I would have loved to see a bit more character development and a bit more on the evil side of Lex Luthor. Also, let me clear it out that I haven't read any of the comics at all. However, the Superman animated series, which released in 1996, I am a massive fan of that. A couple of days back itself only, I was just rewatching it. So this literally felt almost like a on-screen live-action version of that animated series. Because I haven't read the comic books, the side characters of Green Lantern, Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific is just functional. There is nothing that you can really take away home from those characters. This is literally a Superman story, and this is literally a story of human emotions. Pure human emotions and hope. And if a Superman film cannot give us hope, then what else will?